Hello and welcome to yourlocalnote.com. It's been a while since we've had a vidcast. I'm RJ, of course, Mike Stringer, behind the scenes, making sure we look and sound good, and as always, doing a great job with that. Also want to let you know that we are streaming 24/7. We've got Dylan McGuire is our featured vidcast for tonight. And the thing that I want to also pass along to you is that we will be running commercials. That's what happens when we do this vidcast. We run commercials, but the thing is, we do this so we can have the vidcast for free. So this way, if you can have some patience, commercials play, they'll play 10, 15, 30 seconds, and then they rejoin the interview, and you can just check us out and enjoy it as much as you possibly can, and hopefully you will. So again, we stream 24/7. We have free apps. Just go to the respective stores and download them. Just type in YLN at the respective stores. Download it for free, and you can take yourlocalnote.com with you anywhere and everywhere you go. All right, coming up in just a couple minutes, we're going to be hanging and talking with Dylan McGuire. But first, we're going to start off with a song called Sunny in 71 on yourlocalnote.com.
Spaceship, I think it's time I took that trip. Gonna be real soon while the sun's in bloom. Gonna ride this freeway all the way to the moon. Going higher, I'm going higher. And it's sunny at 71. Top down, silver spoon, soaking sun. And it's sunny at 71. No turning back, this time I'm on the run. It's sunny, it's 71. Got my engine revved up 200 degrees. It's worth it to me, I ain't coming to see. Trade my laptop for some West Coast sky. They can't clip my wings, so I'm gonna fly. Going higher, I'm going higher. And it's sunny in 71. Top down, silver spoon, soaking sun. It's sunny in 71. No turning back, this time I'm on the run. It's sunny in 71. Top down, silver spoon, soaking sun. It's sunny in 71. My spaceship ride leaves today. Who needs Earth anyway? When it's sunny in 71. Top down, silver spoon, soaking sun. It's sunny in 71. No turning back, this time I'm on the run. It's sunny in 71. Top down, silver spoon, soaking sun. It's sunny in 71.
Sunny in 71. It's by Dylan McGuire, and it's off the CD Gravity or Lack Thereof. That's his third CD, and we welcome Dylan McGuire to yourlocalnote.com. Dylan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, RJ.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Good. Let's talk first how you got into music. I mean, is this something you've always done? You knew from when you were a little kid that this is what you wanted to do, or was
About
this something in high school, college? What how did it start?
6 months ago, I found this guitar lady in my front yard, and I just started playing it. No, just kidding.
Okay, very good. Not bad for 6 months.
No, when I was little, I was a huge fan of the Beatles and of Elton John, of Kiss, and I bugged my parents to get me a guitar. It really took me a while to figure out how to play that thing, but I did play piano. I took piano lessons for a while.
Okay.
Really got into guitar in high school, then really got into being in a band and writing songs and stuff like that. College, post-college, that type of thing.
Right.
So.
And now you're solo.
I am, but I also do have a band too.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah. So I kind of split my time between my solo gigs and my band gigs. I do probably, I'd say I do every other week, every week, something like that, doing solo acoustic. Then I'll sort of do some judicious band gigs here and there. Mm-hmm. I'd like to get more band gigs, to be honest with you.
Is that, and what's the name of your band? Might as well promote them.
Yeah, it's the Dylan McGuire Band.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very creative.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I just figured, keep a constant brand.
No, that's good. So, do you? Is it a tough struggle to separate what you want to write for yourself and what you want to write for the band?
Well, when I kind of go into things, I'm sort of an egomaniac here in that, I'm sort of, and for many years I did a band thing. Like I did sort of I was a member of a band. I was lead singer or one of two singers. I played the guitar, and I was always writing songs, always creating things. And it got to a point where I had been through so many band changes, and every time you start a band, you got to start from scratch.
Right.
And for some reason, it seemed like I was the guy who was sticking with it. And, things happen, and I've been lucky enough to keep doing this, for a couple of years. And so for that reason, I decided to kind of brand it as Dylan McGuire.
Sure.
And, just kind of keep it going that way and release CDs under my name. And, I work with a bunch of people, and we do collaborate. I have another lyric writer that I work with from time to time. The members of the band, the Dylan McGuire Band, always contribute and things like that. But generally speaking, it just sort of works better for me.
Right.
Doing it this way.
Well, putting a band, we've interviewed, probably 200 bands since we started this.
Yeah.
Almost 4 years ago, and it is a difficult thing to get 3, 4, 5 people to work together.
Right.
And when you're dealing with musicians, you're also dealing, with characters.
Exactly.
And I'm trying to be nice. No, I'm kidding. You're dealing with people who are, a lot of them have strong personalities and they have strong beliefs in the way they want their music to be. So it's it's an interesting thing. When you see the chemistry working, it's awesome.
Yeah.
You can see and you can tell just by talking to see how well the chemistry is. But when it's not working, boy, that's tough.
Right. Exactly.
And I think, though, to find the people to work with for years, it's very difficult to do.
Right. Believe it or not, that this arrangement has worked better for me than any other arrangement has. And it seems kind of funny to have like a band under my name that lasted in the same, there's one guy I've been working with for almost 9 years now.
Right.
And, a drummer I've been working with for 6 years. And, so it for some reason, the dynamic works better this way. So.
Okay.
Here we are.
Real quickly, let's go back to Sunny in 71. I want to talk about that. You obviously wrote the song. What is this song about?
Well, this is a pretty simple song. It's really about, and I really wanted you guys to play this for us today because, this vidcast could play back, but as we know, it's, not sunny and 21 degrees in Philly tonight.
Dropping it.
Yes.
Right, but I wrote this song, and a couple of years ago, I had a job where I got to travel out to California, and I just really, there are times where I just sort of think like, this is sort of like daydreaming about, getting out of your desk job, getting away from your cold Philly job, and cruising down a highway in California at, with the top down. So it's pretty simple, but
well,
it works.
It's something that people can relate to because there are, even when you love your job, there are still days where you're just like, oh God, when is this day gonna end? Because nothing's perfect. There's no utopia, but so that's pretty cool. That's very relatable. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. You're gonna play live for us.
All right.
Correct. Let's do that. Let's have you play the next song live. Circus Friend is what we're gonna do, and when we come back, we'll talk about that song, and then we'll get more into your songwriting style.
Okay.
That sound good?
Yeah. Well, why don't I tell the story of this song real quick before I play it?
I was gonna do that when we came back.
Oh, okay.
So
All right, no problem.
I'd like to play that first, and then we can talk about the song.
Sounds good.
All right.
I'll have my circus friend to shoot me out of the end of this cannon into your life. So you better return my calls, or you wake up and you'll find me crashing right through your window with flowers in my hand. I'll burn up in black. I'm seeing highways and driveways, highways and driveways. Say my prayers and count rooftops. It's all fun except the quick stops. I'll borrow his trampoline to get the height I need, so I can look you in the eye. Some better return my calls, oh, you wake up and you'll find me crashing right through your window with flowers in my hand. All burn up in black. I'm seeing highways and driveways, highways and driveways. Say my prayers, count the rooftops. It's all fun except the quick stops. Cutting through the sky, I smile as I descend straight down through the clouds, right to you. Petals blown from stems again. I'll have my circus friend to shoot me out of the end of his cannon into your life. And I'm seeing highways and driveways, highways and driveways. Say my prayers, count the rooftops. It's all fun except the quick stops. Say my prayers, count the rooftops. It's all fun except the quick stops.
All right, very nice.
All right, thank you.
Very nice. That's Dylan McGuire. The song is called Circus Friend, and that is from the CD Gravity or Lack Thereof. All right, Dylan, and this is sort of my personal favorite part of what we do here.
Cool.
I love to hear, people playing, and then I love to talk to the singer-songwriters about the songs. And let's first talk about what this song is about, Circus Friend.
Okay, so as I mentioned before, I do work with another co-lyric writer.
Okay.
Who actually was a drummer that was in one of my earlier bands.
Okay.
And, it's kind of funny because we come from very different influences. Like I sort of have a, sort of come from a more, rock, classic rock, melodic, open chord guitar thing. Whereas he's more of like a rap guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And he loves the Beastie Boys, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, all that kind of stuff, right?
Okay.
And we worked together for a number of years, and we did pretty well working together. But then, things happened, and we ended up going our separate ways. At one point, we started talking about writing together, and he sent me this song, and it was, I got it, and it was funny. Like, he sent me this this demo that he had done on GarageBand, and he's doing beatbox. It's like,
Okay.
right? And it's like, my circus friend, whatever, this whole thing, right?
Yes.
And I was like, I'll tell you what, I mean, I just liked the lyrics. Like, I liked the lyrics. It was funny. It was sort of lighthearted. It was, I thought it was kind of a cool image of getting shot out of it into a cannon. So I was like, listen, man, I want to take this and I just want to make it a Dylan song. And he was like, that's cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's sort of how that developed. I just kind of took his song and I literally had to take out, there might have been, 700 lyrics in there. I cut it down to about, 50 words.
So, you've known him for a while then.
Yeah.
So you two know each other. So he's putting stuff together that he also thinks that you're going to like anyway.
Right.
When he's putting the songs together. I guess then my question to you, when you're writing,
right,
and you're putting a song together, now with this, obviously the lyrics didn't come from you, the music did.
Right.
Do you have to, are you a songwriter that has to experience experience something to write about it, or can you get an idea and tell a story around it?
Right.
Or do you do a little of both?
It's sort of a little of both for me most of the time. Most of the time, in terms of lyrics, I always start with a guitar riff, a guitar chord progression.
So music always comes first for you?
Absolutely. For the 90% of the time.
Okay.
Yeah, this was one time, there have been maybe one or two times where it didn't work that way, but 90% of the time it'll happen to be a guitar riff or something like that. I'll put together a demo for myself, and generally what I'll do is I'll have all these CDs that are floating around my car, and I'll just drive around with these things, and I'll just sing stuff. I will sing whatever, and it's almost like I kind of, not to be metaphysical or anything, but I kind of let the song kind of talk to me a little bit.
Sure.
Kind of let me, hear what words I come up with, hear what melodies I come up with. And it's definitely a process. It takes a while, but
it's almost like a puzzle the way
right,
you put it together.
Exactly.
Okay.
But then after I sort of have a melody or a chorus put together, lyrically, I'll kind of decide what I want this to be about, and then there are times when songs are partially my experience that I've sort of embellished or taken, or sometimes it's an experience that may not be exactly what the lyric is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
no, absolutely. A little creative license.
Right.
And
that's sort of my process. To put it in a nutshell. But one of the interesting things about being a songwriter for a number of years is that, I think when you're a younger songwriter, you have sort of things to write about, like, you have like your girlfriend or your,
right, or your lack of girlfriend,
right, or whatever,
or you just got dumped and you're angry, so you're gonna write a nasty,
right,
a nasty
exactly.
song.
So
yeah.
You've been at it for a few years. I mean, you definitely want to look for things that are, at least in my opinion, I try to look for things that are, personal to me that I can kind of relate, that'll make an interesting story, an interesting song.
Well, I think music, the way I look at it, and I'm not a musician. I'm a horrible guitar player, and I took 8 years of lessons just to be bad. But I look at it as a journey, because you're constantly working on your craft.
Right.
You're a better songwriter now and a better guitar player now than you were 10 years ago.
Right.
And you're going to be a better songwriter and guitar player probably 10 years from now.
Yeah.
If you keep doing what you're doing.
Right.
So it's a journey that you're always working and improving on, And so I think it's interesting. Now, do you take some old stuff that you've written and maybe say, you know what, I like this idea, but it didn't work then because I now have more experience in life that I think I can then take this and make it even better than it was back then?
Oh, absolutely.
You've done that kind of stuff.
I've absolutely done that. And there are actually a couple tracks on this album that are exactly that are exactly songs that were on earlier albums or that I had written, that I wanted to either just give a new presentation to, or else kind of record them the way that I wanted them to be recorded. I think that, at certain points when I recorded them earlier, maybe we didn't have the money to do a good studio recording, or the technology isn't what it is right now, and stuff like that. So that was something to a degree I wanted to do with this album, was kind of take some of these songs that I sort of still believed in, sort of still meant something to me, and present them in a new way too.
And now, have you taken songs that you've written and then presented it to your band members, and just to get their feel of what to work on it move past it, or is it something that you just come to them and say, you know, here's what I got, let's work on it?
It's on a piece of paper. It's written down. You can't mess with it. No, just kidding.
Right. It's an ink.
That's right. No, of course, everybody, you know, we can all sort of work together and stuff like that on that.
Okay.
So, yeah. You know, interesting thing I was just thinking about when you were talking about, you know, getting better as a guitar player and, you know, learning more and stuff like that. At the encouragement of a good friend of mine, a couple of years ago, I started taking lessons with a pretty respected jazz guitar teacher. So that was a really interesting experience because I've never been much of a jazz. I mean, I sort of respect the complexity and things like that.
Right.
But one of the most interesting things about that was that I sort of went into it trying to just improve my skills as a musician and things like that.
Sure.
And we did sort of get into jazz, and I started to present him to my songs and things, and I was starting to put in a lot of the complex stuff that I was learning as
right.
Very
Like,
cool. You know, key changes, things like that. And really one of the most interesting things, some of the most interesting feedback I got from him was to simplify it.
Really?
Yeah, like I got to a point where I was making it too complex.
Okay.
Where I was writing too much. I was taking this knowledge and going too far with it. And I think that's something that is important to remember, your genre and what you're trying to convey.
Right. Simplify, but at times, and it just struck me as you're describing how you were working with a jazz guitarist.
Right.
So you were sort of taking yourself out of your comfort level.
Yes, definitely.
I think that's so important to do, not just, you know, with music, but just in life in general.
Right.
Because sometimes you get, I guess, complacent.
Right.
And that's sort of an enemy of creativity.
Right.
And just and productivity.
Definitely.
And just to at times to get yourself and put yourself in a position that you're just like totally uncomfortable with. Like several years ago, I took an improv class.
Right.
Which is something I would never have done.
Yeah.
But I just something in me just said, you know, you should do this, and it was way out of my comfort level.
Right.
But it was good.
Yeah.
I felt it helped me with radio and things like that. So
Definitely.
I think as an artist to get yourself out of comfort level is a good thing that's going to help you throughout your career.
Right.
So let's do this. You got another song.
Okay.
And then when we come back, this song is called Changed.
Right.
And then when we come back, it's off your CD Gravity. We're going to talk more about your CD.
Okay.
When we come back, and then we'll talk about where people can find your music and where they can see you playing live. So let's get to Changed, which we're going to do live again, which we really appreciate. Dylan McGuire here on yourlocalnote.com. Again, from the CD Gravity or Lack Thereof. This is called Changed.
All right.
Like a flashbulb on a Polaroid, 20 years burn right by. So many folks, so many lives, memories got left behind. Well, I guess I still remember you, the same. Nice to see you, thanks for warning me. So many years in my brain. Look at how we've changed. In my mind, I'm still the same. Trying to find my way. That's it, tonight I know I can never go back. Well, I guess I still remember you, and my past's all the same. But yeah, some wounds never heal, no matter how much time goes by. When we left, we were invincible, using graduation gowns. But the cold hard reality will smash you homecoming ground. Look at how we've changed. In my mind, I'm still the same, trying to find my way. That's it, tonight I know I can never go back.
how we've changed. In my mind, I'm still the same, trying to find my way back to the night I know I can never go. Look at how we've changed. In my mind, I'm still the same, trying to find my way back to the night I know I can never go. Look at how we've changed. In my mind, I'm still the same, trying to find my way back to the night I know. Back to the night I know. To the night I know I can never go.
Very nice.
All right, thank you.
All right, very good. That's Dylan McGuire. The song is called Changed from the CD Gravity or Lack Thereof. All right, real quickly, what's this song about? As I interrupt you trying to get some water.
No problem. I wrote this song about a high school reunion.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is sort of my thinking on, like you go, you haven't seen people in a while.
Right.
Everybody looks completely different.
Right.
Or some of them don't. Some of them look exactly the same. You're
Right. And you hate them.
Exactly. But, I still feel the same on the inside. I'm still the same guy. And, you think about, like, how the outside world might perceive you. Like, like you're walking down the street and, maybe the way you look doesn't reflect the way you feel inside. But that's sort of my thinking on that. And then, it's one of these songs where I did kind of write it a little bit outside of my experience, where I was kind of like thinking, maybe I'd run into an old girlfriend.
Sure,
sure. And, sort of talking to that experience and I'm just saying that didn't necessarily happen.
Yes.
I think my wife's watching, but that's
where creative license comes
right,
in.
Exactly. So that's what I'm thinking about when I wrote that.
That's very cool. High school. I've never gone to a high school reunion.
Oh yeah.
I hang out with, or I keep in touch with about 6 or 7 guys that I went to high school with. And that's it. And we see each other at least once or twice a year.
Right.
And that's it. And one of the guys that I hang with was the president of the school, the class.
Right.
And I remember when our 20th reunion was coming up, and he's like, I guess I'm going to have to do something because, as president and stuff like that. I said, he goes, what do you think I should do? I said, Jerry, I don't care because I won't be there.
Right.
I said, there's really no one I want to go back and spend, say, a night going, so what have you been doing for the last 20 years? So,
I gotcha.
No, but that's cool. That's a very cool song. All right, let's talk about the CD, Gravity or Lack Thereof. This is the third CD full CD you've done.
Right.
Is this something that you did yourself, or is this something you went into the studio with someone? How did this work?
Yeah, I worked with a guy. His name was Brett Talley.
Mm-hmm.
He was in a band called Ike. I don't know if you guys have played them, but they were sort of a big band in Philly for a number of years.
Okay.
John Fay, John and Brittany.
Oh yeah. Oh,
right.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So he was the lead guitarist in that band. He's a guy I got to know just through the going to see his band, through the scene. Going to see each other's shows, things like that. We kind of found we had a pretty common interest in guitar. We were big, sort of guitar nerd guy. Hope he's not watching and I insult him or anything, but we're just into the whole instrument, the whole thing.
Sure.
And he really seemed to enjoy my music, and I heard some of his recordings, and he was one of these guys where you kind of listen to something he'd recorded, and you ask him where he did that. He's like, well, I did that on my my home recording studio.
Yeah,
he just had a great ear, and I was really impressed with that. So I really wanted to work with him, and so it was all done in his studio, in his basement, all done on Pro Tools on his Mac laptop and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, it took place. It was about a 2-year period, maybe a year and a half of, getting together on Sunday afternoons or Tuesday nights or whatever, then working this thing out and doing all kinds of overdubs and things like that. And I played 90% of the instruments. I'm not a great drummer. My regular drummer played drums with me.
Okay.
I can do a couple of beats, but that's
about it. All right.
Yeah. So I played most of the guitars, most of the bass, did all the vocals. A couple of my guys sat in on a song or two.
Oh, cool.
Brett did a song or two. So
when you're putting this album together,
yeah.
I mean, are you taking instructions from
the producer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is this something where you knew exactly what you wanted to do with each song and you just went with it and he sort of just fine-tuned it for you?
No, it was a collaboration, and he had a lot of input in it. And I was always really impressed with his ability to kind of come up with parts on the spot and just sort of dictate them to me. It was like, there are certain spots on the album where we have, a couple, like 8 vocals layered or things like that. He'd
Right.
like, sing this part, sing, oh, and then
Right.
And I was really impressed with that, with his ability to do that. So yeah, there was a lot of Brett's influence on this as well.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
well, no. The one thing I wanted to mention too is that this album, the album before this, I worked with a different producer who was kind of going,
Right.
who had a different vision for my music.
I was going to touch on that, but go ahead.
Okay.
So let's go into that. So how much different has the process been from your first album to your second album to your third album?
Right. Well, the first album I did was strictly a band album, and it was very. It was just like we went in, we tracked songs live. We went in, we cut, overdubbed vocals, overdubbed some certain guitar parts, but it was very much what you'd expect from when you see a band putting.
Well, a lot of it probably has to do with the fact that you didn't have the money to really do it the way you wanted to do it. I mean, and this is the thing that people don't understand, and one of the things we like to point out here is the cost of producing one song.
Oh yeah,
It's hundreds of dollars.
Absolutely.
Now you're looking at 11 songs, and it adds up very quickly. Studio
Right.
time is very precious, and it's difficult for bands to get the money together to do that. So
Definitely.
it's not a surprise that your first album is like that. That's
Right.
I'm sure if you talk to 100 bands, 90 would have the same exact experience as you had as far
Right.
as their first album is concerned.
Well, luckily we were actually on a label then. We had an independent label who was backing us, and although their budget wasn't that much better than what we could have raised ourselves, so
Right.
and so that was one thing. And then when we went to the second album, we've been through several personnel changes, and as we went into the studio, we kind of did 1 or 2 days of tracking, and everybody sort of quit.
Okay.
Right, and so I was sort of ended up holding the ball. And I'm not saying that this is a bad thing necessarily, because it worked out well, but it certainly was one of these things where everybody sort of retreated a bit after we started tracking the album, and I guess they just weren't that committed to it. But
Wow, that had to be a stressful time for
a
you.
little bit, yeah. But I decided to push through with it and raise the funding on my own just through playing more shows and
Now, do you look at to do some crowdsourcing for crowdsourcing for your next album?
I might. I don't know.
It's happening more and more,
Right.
And we help promote bands.
Yeah.
Now that you're with us, if you're going to do that, let us know. We'll
Okay.
promote that because we think it's important. And there are more and more sites that are coming up that do that. And in fact, I actually read a story yesterday about how in Japan, after the tsunami, a lot of businesses used crowdfunding and
cool.
crowdsourcing to get them back on their feet. There was the one story specifically about a guy whose company was 200 years old. His
Right.
family had founded it 200 years ago, and he didn't want to be the one that the business collapsed. Even though it would have been understandable, he pursued it and he raised a whole bunch of money and he got the company going again.
Yeah, right.
So it's something that strikes a chord, I think, with people with the crowdsourcing, because they know, a lot of people know how difficult it is.
Right.
And we're trying to reiterate and remind people that it's expensive, and people get attached to it. If you can do it right and use your creativity, you can make it fun. You'll get new fans.
Right.
So it's something, if you're going to do, let us know. We'll help you.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I mean, one thing I really like to do this year is do a good video. I've never really had a professionally produced video, so
Use it for that.
Yeah,
because we've had people do that too. So it's something that can help the artist, on something that isn't. It's difficult.
Right.
All that doing a video is incredibly expensive.
Right.
As well as recording. So we'll help you any way we can, Dylan.
Sounds good.
All right, let's move on to where people can see you play.
Okay. So next Thursday, I will be at World Cafe Live.
Okay.
In
Is it you or is it the band?
It will be a band show.
Okay.
And I'm going to be part of the 10th anniversary show that they have
Nice.
It's 10th anniversary of the Philly Rising. So that's the open mic showcase that they have on Monday nights. And I was a regular there for a number of years, and it really helped me kind of
Sure.
raise my exposure in the Philly scene. So I'm happy to be a part of that.
Cool.
It's
Date
definitely-
on that.
It's the 5th, February 5th. So
Okay.
yeah, people can see me there, and then I'm playing I'm playing a cafe in Elkins Park, and I thought my phone was live, so I could give you the name of it. But it is on my website. So my website is www.dylanmcguire.com,
Okay.
and
And people can find your music there too.
they can find my music there. You can find links to all my Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff.
And all the info where you're playing is on all of that.
Right, and you can.
And it'll be also on yourlocalnote.com because
Absolutely.
we'll put it on our concert
Right.
schedule.
And you can stream my music through Spotify and Pandora.
Okay.
And
And you can also hear it on yourlocalnote.com.
Oh, there you go. Oh, that's. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
No,
another
that's
ad.
fine. It's fine. I just like to have fun with that. That's and you should be on all these different places.
Right.
So you don't think that we look down on the fact that you mentioned something else because yeah you need to expose the music everywhere you can.
So the name of this place is Malulani Grill Cafe, and that's on Germantown Avenue in Philadelphia.
Okay.
And that's March 7th.
March 7th.
Yep.
Very
That's going to be
cool.
an acoustic gig, and then I also play once a month or so at Ram's Head Grill in Westchester.
Cool.
And then I play pretty regularly at Grape Room in Manayunk.
Good place.
Yeah, definitely.
Scooter's a great guy.
Oh, absolutely. I've been playing there for years, and we did I did my CD release party there.
Oh,
and,
good.
Yeah.
Very
yeah,
good.
Definitely love that place.
Yeah, he's really into the local scene, and we've been there a few times, and we try to work with him as much as we can.
Awesome.
Dylan, appreciate you hanging with us tonight.
Yeah, no problem.
And
Thank you for having me.
the music sounds great. You
Thank
sound
you.
great, and looking forward to checking out the rest of the CD. And we'll get that up on yourlocalnote.com. Next week we'll have another. This podcast or this vidcast will go up on our site, so it'll be featured for a week starting on Monday, and then the following Monday we'll have a brand new vidcast. We took a little bit of a break. Mike and I had a busy last couple of months. So we sort of just put our feet up a little bit and relax a little bit and regroup. So we're back though and ready to go. And we're going to have a new vidcast every single week. Again, starting this Monday, Dylan McGuire, and he'll be up for a week. And then after that, we'll have a new vidcast every single week, starting on a Monday. And of course, our next vidcast is Monday.
Yep.
We got
RFA.
RFA will be with us, so that should be a lot of fun. Again, don't forget that we stream 24/7, free apps. Download them at the respective stores. Just type in YLN and you can download them, and you can take yourlocalnote.com with you anywhere you want to go. Dylan, once again, we really appreciate you hanging with us.
Yeah, thank you.
And you
RJ.
know what? Before we go, though, we're going to play the last song, Wear It on Your Sleeve. Give us a little preview of what we're going to be listening for. You wrote this song. What is this about?
I always describe this as my advice to my high school self.
Okay.
So I was actually voted. You know how they have those superlative awards in high school?
Yes.
I was the quietest kid in high school. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe call it social anxiety. I don't know, something like that. But anyway, I guess I've grown out of it a bit. But this was sort of me. I don't know, just thinking about like what would I have done different.
Oh,
type of
okay.
thing.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, wrapping things up. Again, Dylan, thank you so much. From his CD, Gravity or Lack Thereof, this is called Wear It on Your Sleeve on yourlocalnote.com.
You got your head down, counting the tiles. Won't look them in the eye, can't crack a smile. Dodging their bullets, it's not in the cards. And you wonder, why is this so hard? But you are what you are. faces scornfully. Take inventory. Brand names and masquerades, just out of reach.